Hello, everybody. Here we are at San Francisco Decorator Showcase 2025, and it's an amazing event. It's a great community, giving back to the community event, and that's my second one. And here I am with R.J. Pittman and with Andy Florance, and we are sitting on the very top floor, which Andy thinks is the best room here. So here we go.
Amazing room. Amazing room. A little sanctuary.
Little sanctuary.
It is.
So I would like to talk about Matterport is throughout this masterpiece. And it's basically like the foundation that we are creating for designers and also for architects and for builders. What do you, well, let's start with you, RJ, since it was your baby and that's the second year that you are creating it. What's your feedback on how you feel about it? Because it's very close to your heart.
Well, it is. And first of all, this is at the intersection of a whole bunch of things that matter to me. One, architecture and design. You're bringing together some of the best designers and architects in California, sometimes even from, outside of California and around the world, to completely reimagine a property. And it's for a great cause. It's a program that Decorator Showcase goes back to, I believe, 1978. And it's been going every year since. I don't know how they find that many houses every year to continue to come in and completely transform them. And it raises money for the local high school. Turns out my kids somehow found their way to get accepted to this high school in San Francisco. And so they're now part of the community and it's really fun. And they're here tonight and enjoying this. And the most exciting thing about Matterport this year is that the product was used to help the designers reimagine the space.
Right.
So it wasn't about scanning and creating the 3D digital twin of the final product, which of course we've done and it's really amazing. It was about capturing the process along the way so that they could design and develop these concepts like this awesome room that we're sitting in much faster and much more cost effectively than they ever have before. That might not sound as interesting, but let me tell you, to the designers and the builders that are here, in the house tonight, it's a game changer.
Well, I'm sure. And they invested so much love and passion in every detail. That is your first time here, right? At the event like that.
This is my first time in a San Francisco Designer Showcase.
Yeah. And so what's your take on it? You looked through you went through the whole house already twice. So
Well, San Francisco is a special place to begin with. So the views and vistas here are fantastic. And this house takes full advantage of that. I love the fact that the designers can be exactly who they want to be in each one of these rooms. So they don't really have a client for any one of these things. So they get to do what they think is the very best. And I love it because their full personality, their full talent comes out. And my father was an architect. And so I was always aware that he had a client who he had to work towards their requirement. Here, you're seeing art in its pure form. And I love it. And so it's wonderful. And then what we're doing, or what happens with this organization, they've raised $5 million for the school through Time for Scholarship. So that's about 100 scholarships for students that gives them access to a phenomenal first-rate education that they otherwise never would experience. So that's what this is doing. As we have a glass of wine, we're helping some kids get an incredible education and wonderful opportunity.
Can be that. I totally agree with you. That makes you feel even better. And I'm sure that all the designers who put their heart into every detail, they also feel so wonderful about giving back to the kids. Yeah. And how do you see Matterport platform supporting and helping the designers, the builders, the architects to create their world, to make it personal? How can Matterport arrange it for them?
Well, at the end of the day, we're trying to use technology to help the friction and the complexity of designing, building, reimagining get out of the way. It's really what we're doing, right? And as I was describing earlier, if we can simplify that process a little bit and bring their imagination closer to the space faster, like you don't have to be in here 7 days a week, walking the space and measuring it and coming back in to think about just how you want to make the perfect, penthouse room on the roof deck. You can do it from the comfort of your studio or your living room, and your whole team can do the same thing, and you can be collaborating remotely. I mean, that's the game changer part of it for us, that we've been working really hard to get on the inside of the design build part of the property life cycle. And a project like this, we knew we had to start at the beginning, right? And so our best Matterport probably is the one we did before it all started this year, right? And then every one that we did, I think, 8 different scans of the property through its entire stage of construction, destruction, and build up to the final product, which creates a extraordinary time capsule that you have what the property once was before in its original glory, generation 1, and then you see it now in its new generation for time to go on, and maybe someday in 10 or 20 years there'll be another, right? And you could add that to the time capsule.
Absolutely. And what do you think, Andy, with Matterport and with platform and creating that environment that gives the designers freedom? How do you see it?
Well, I studied a little bit of architecture, but I'm not a designer, but I use Matterport for design for sure. So I'm out somewhere in a gallery 500 miles away from home, and I see something I like, and I can pull up the Matterport, and I can actually, I'm already, like me, I will use it to see what will this piece of art look like if I put it right here, and will it fit, which is no small task. So like as RJ says, give the designer freedom to be wherever they are with whoever, and to be able to experience the space remotely and have all the accurate measurements. The other thing I think is really cool is that we're still in the relatively early generations of what Matterport will become. And through time with AI, the ability to try different styles, do different concepts, and AI may not be able to give you exactly what you want, but it allows you to try lots of different ideas, and then find inspiration in different concepts, and then take the human touch to the end. So I'm really excited about what it looks like. I mean, it's great today. I'm really excited about what's going to happen in the next 10 years with this in design, and it's going to be cool.
And speaking of the future, I would like to ask both of you, how do you see a project like that being brought in other parts of the country, or even overseas? Bring it to Europe, bring it to Asia, and create something like that with a completely different culture.
Well, let's consider one interesting statistic. There's over 13,000 new buildings constructed every day. So just as we've been sitting here, enjoying a nice glass of wine, I think there's been probably 50 or 100 or a few hundred buildings that just got completed, right? And so the volume, the rate of, and now these are new buildings, right? I'm not even adding the statistic of how many renovations like this extraordinary one that are going on right now, and maybe just completed as well, where technology like Matterport can enable and unlock all of them in the same way. We can bring the power of this, extraordinary designer showcase capability to everybody, right? It's about democratizing, the technology, making great design like this accessible to so many more people. And I know the designers love that, because they want, their creativity to reach the world, and the rest of the world is trying to figure out how could they get a great penthouse room like this, in their backyard.
Yeah, and the designer showcase, it has such rich history of giving back, like you were talking about, giving back to the kids, giving back to the school. And again, if we can build it somewhere else, wouldn't that be we should do it in your hometown.
Yeah, wherever that might be.
Yeah, when I asked where does Andy live, I was told, oh, he lives everywhere.
On the plane.
On the plane. No, in Washington, let's say.
Right.
Yeah.
That would be, we can find a great house there. There's a lot of history there.
They do a designer showcase in Washington, and I enjoyed one that was done in the house that Harding had his inaugural ball in, President Harding. And they did a great job with it.
Wow.
I think this one's pretty special, though. This one is a click up. This is probably the best one in the world.
Well, cheers. Cheers to that. Cheers, everybody. Have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.